Hey everybody, Diana here with Wayward Cat Publishing, and today I thought I would play around with some playing cards that I got at Goodwill. And I watched a few videos in the past on doing this and decided to give it a try. First there, I'm sanding off the shiny bits so that glue and stuff will stick onto the cards easier. And you pull off the plies of your napkins so that you're down to one ply. I was checking there to see if it said on those napkins whether or not there was another ply. Usually you just put a piece of tape on the corner and start pulling, and if there's another ply, it'll start coming up, and that's what I did there. Taking a little time here to try to figure out where I want to place the napkin on the playing card. I got those cool napkins at Goodwill too. They go perfectly with playing cards. So I'm using glue stick here because somebody did that on a YouTube video, and I'm kind of holding it up to the light to make sure that the glue stick is covered everywhere. I don't think the glue sticks worked out all that well, but in the end, I think they're the easiest way to do it. And here I think I should have maybe let it dry a little longer before I started to pull it off. And then I realized cutting it would be a lot easier. That's probably what the person whose video I watched did. I was kind of fumbling around here for the most part. And then I used the sanding block to sand off the edges to make it look pretty good. I really like that look. They look pretty cool. All right, for the next one, I decided to lay the card down onto the napkin instead of trying to put the napkin on the card. And this time I did, I think I let it dry a little bit first. No, I didn't. You can tell I'm watching this after. See there, I'm showing where the glue didn't quite get on all of those parts, but you can put a little bit of glue on top and smash it down. All right, what am I going to do with these? Oh, here. Okay, so I decided to try the Fabri-Tac glue. And I'm going to try to spread it. First, I think I spread it with my fingers. This should be fun to watch. It was a mess. Okay, pulling off the plies first. This napkin didn't come apart quite as easily as the first one did. All right, so here's the Fabri-Tac, and I tried to spread it around with my fingers. It was a mess. Oh my gosh, what a mess. I don't think I would do that again. It may have held better than the glue stick, but I'm not positive about that. So now I'm going to try to spread the glue around with a little bit of cardboard. See, there, I got my little cardboard there. I'm trying to spread it around. It didn't work very well. So I kind of gave up on that. I saw somebody do that on a video. They spread it around and they made it look so easy. It just didn't work for me. There we go. Those look really pretty too. I think it doesn't really matter which napkin you use. It's going to look really cool. Okay, so here I'm going to try this window thing that I saw somebody do. You use a face playing card, like a king, queen, whatever, because it's got the square on it. And you cut along the lines. But here I'm trying to do it with a playing card that I've already covered with the napkin. So I can't really see the lines very well. And I'm just doing my best here. My utility knife is not very sharp. So I had trouble with that. I need to put a new blade in it. But also, in the end, it ended up kind of cutting into the tissue on it, and it didn't look good. So I decided to start with a clean card, which is what the person in the video did. And that worked much better, although my blade is still rather dull, I think. it ended up working. Here I'm trying my scissors to finish the cut. That's not a good idea. Trying on the back, can't really see it very well. It's so funny because it worked so easy for the person who did it on the video. They probably had a really good knife. We're a little more bold with it. I think I finally got it to work. Nope. Yes, I did. Nope. Yeah. Now I'm going to score the line there where you're going to open up the flap to make it like a window. So at that point, after you've already cut it, then you can cover that one flap part with tissue, which I'll do. So here I'm going to try to protect the edges of the card from getting glue on them, because knowing me, I would end up getting glue all over them. It takes me a while to get it all situated. Put a little glue stick on, and then slap the tissue on. And then just taking the excess tissue off. I throw up my hands every now and then because I'm like, what do I do now? So I'm sanding off the shiny bits on the edges so that I can glue on. Actually, I don't know why I did that, but maybe I did it on the back. Oh, I remember. I did it because now I'm sanding it because I want the ink to stay on. I think that shiny bit can kind of keep anything from sticking to the card, so it's good to sand it off. So I inked it up a bit. Now I'm going to put a card behind it. And then I'm going to put, there's a piece of acetate. I'm going to put a piece of acetate. And I just glued that onto the back of the frame. Just wipe off any excess glue. Trimming off the excess acetate. And now get some ephemera to play around with. Now you can see the perfectionist in me, the constant messing around with the girl, trying to get her in just the right spot. And I think in the end, I did manage to get her into a spot that I was very happy with. Because you get her situated, then you got to take her off to put the glue on. But I like where she ended up. Now I'm playing around with a bunch of different bits of ephemera And at this point, nothing else really looked good, so I believe I left it just as it was, and it looks pretty cool, just like that. And next I'm going to make a little hinge. Yeah, see, more trying to play around with ephemera. Nope. Looking for more ephemera. I can't remember now if I put something there or not. We'll see. Right, I was thinking maybe I'll put a bit of paper in there you could write on or something. Maybe some more tissue would be nice. Yep, got a little bit of tissue. Oh, this isn't going to work. This is like one-ply tissue. That did not work. Start again. This time we'll put the glue on the card. That's me trying my best to ink up the edges of the tissue. It inked up a little bit. All right, glue on the card, not the tissue. There we go. Ripping off little bits that don't work. I think in the end I left it without any more ephemera. All right, I'm going to create a little hinge. That the video that I watched, the lady did that, and I will post a link to that video. Things worked out so much better for her. It's me just still trying to figure out how to get a good hinge. That's some nice thick manila from a file folder. It's like double thickness. Got to take time to clean off the scissors. So much tape on the scissors. All right, just going to ink that up a bit. I'm trying to put it on paper to try to keep my desk, even though my desk is covered with a piece of paper, I want to try to keep that as clean as I can for as long as I can. Eventually, it'll get all covered with ink and glue. All right, that's my little hinge. And then I'm going to get out. Oh, I've got my little brad out there. I see it by my yellow scissors. So I'm going to mark where I'm going to poke a hole. And I'm just going to use my awl. And I fumbled around with this a little bit too. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it. Should have poked the hole through the hinge and the awl at the same time. But I figured it out eventually. Got the hole poked. You can tell I've never done this before. Sometimes it takes doing it a few times before you remember. And I will definitely do this cool window frame card again. I only did one for this video. I really like it though. It's pretty cool. And it actually works. You put the brad in there on the hinge, and as long as your hinge is thick enough, it works. And I didn't cover up the back of it. That was me wondering, tapping my fingers, wondering if I should cover it up. But I figure it'll be glued down on something. And you can always cover it up later if you decide not to, and you decide it's going to be a tag or something. All right, here I'm going to do something a little different. I saw in another video, and I will find that video if I can. You put a little bit of glue on just some edges, little spots, and then you put the paper down, and you got to let it dry really good. Doing several pieces at once. A lot of times I do tags and stuff as I'm working on a journal, and I'm trying to do more mass makes. It is kind of fun. All right, so they're all dried, and now you pull off the paper, and what's left gives you this cool old look. Really love that. Really love that. Now, the black paper there on the Joker was the Tim Holtz things. It pulled off a lot more than I expected, but it still looks pretty cool. In the end, if I recall, I leave the Joker pretty much as it is because I just like it that way. I will also put a link to those Tim Holtz papers. I can't remember what they're called now. They're really cool, though. I'll put a link in the description. I hope I remember all the links I have to put in there. Now, on the Joker, I think I'm going to switch over to some scorched timber. Yeah, there we go. I really like the look of the Joker, just as he is. All right, now you can take those cards. You could leave them as they are, which would be pretty cool. But this is some watered-down Elmer's glue. And I'm going to do some, like, what do you call that, decoupage or whatever? And you put some tissue on over the book page that you've stuck on. Oh, no, it's tea bags. That's right. Okay, so I think this was Natasha from Treasure Books who did this. And she showed how to do it, and I couldn't remember. And I'm like, you go around the edges to make sure it gets all around the edges. But I had forgotten an important step. So when I set it aside to dry, it kept lifting off the edge of the card. And I couldn't figure out what the problem was, but you'll see me. I will figure it out here shortly. I'm putting it on as best I can, and then you'll see me lifting the other one up. It's like, what's going on? It's lifting off the edge. Let's put some more glue on. It's doing it on the other one. It's still not working. It took me a while to figure out. Also, the card is like warping. I just couldn't figure out why it wasn't working for me the way it was working for her. So I start another one, and it's as I'm starting this other one, I think, that I realize what my problem is. She took, now I'm going to go ahead. I haven't figured it out yet. Here I go. She put hers on a book page. Now, hers was more centered on the book page. I'm kind of flailing at this point. And she glued it all around on a book page so that she glued all the edges so that the tea bag is stuck to the book page. That way she could get the tea bag stuck to the edges of her cards really good. Now, here I had to do a little extra because my cards had warped, and I was trying to hold them down flat and get them glued on really well. All right, and then you have to let these dry really well too. Okay, it's later, and they are all dry, really dry. And again, I couldn't remember. I should have watched the video again before I did this. I'm trying to rip it off, but she cut it off, and it works so much better if you just cut it. So I'll figure it out. There we go. Get the scissors out and cut it. And when you cut around the card, the book page on the back will just come off automatically. See, there it is. And then you sand off the edges if you want. And you can just barely see the book page bits behind the tea bag. Now, if you had some clear napkin or tissue other than the tea bag that's not as dark, you could try that too. I just did what Natasha did. I'm almost pretty sure it's Natasha. So it makes them look really old and grungy, but the backs are the same. So you could do whatever you want to the backs of the card. And I'm going to leave that for when I actually want to use it in a journal. I do a little more embellishment on these cards, but in the end, any final embellishments would be done when I'm ready to use them in a journal, because your journal might have a bit of a theme, it might have a certain aesthetic, and so you might want your ephemera to kind of match that. So here I'm going to make pockets. So I use one of the cards that I put the tissue on to make a pocket for the other two cards. And here I think I'm going to measure it, but no, I'm not going to measure it. I got to line it up where I want it on the card and then mark where I want to cut it. I don't want to cut it on the cutting board because I'm afraid it'll rip the tissue. So what I did is I drew a line and I just kind of scored it with my little blade, poked holes in it all along so I could see the score line really well. And then I cut it. I had to do the same with the other one to get it to the right size that I wanted my pocket. Then I got to ink everything up. I think I tried to punch out my little tab punch. There we go. And it worked okay with the tissue on the card. I was pleased with that. Now we're going to ink them all up. You can see the perfectionist in me again, trying to place them just so. Do I have them exactly where I want them? Have I matched up the right pocket with the right card? Now we just glue them on. No, see, I'm switching again. I finally made a decision. You like to use the Fabri-Tac. Oh, right here, I'm sand it off first to make sure the glue sticks really good. But I like to use the Fabri-Tac glue because you can move it around easier than the Bearly Arts glue. And it is being glued onto tissue. I don't know, I think the Bearly Arts glue would work really well. But I like being able to adjust it. All right, here I am going to use my Gizmo, I forgot the name again, to set in some eyelets. And I saw somebody on a video has these eyelets with washers on the back. I really want to get some of those. But I don't have any, so right now it's just my regular eyelets. And then we'll put some dangles and maybe a ribbon. This is me. The blank spots are me going around my room trying to find stuff. Get my little charms out. Now I'm off looking for some ribbon. I found this cool ribbon. Never used it before. I really like it. It's nice and thin. It's brown. It goes perfect in grungy junk journals. Just tie that on. Cute. Now I got to stick something in the pockets. Normally you would wait until you're putting it in a journal, but just for this video, I'm going to go ahead and stick something in the pockets. And here's a new little ephemera sticker book that I got. Find a sticker. You can't really see the butterfly very well on the pocket, but I guess it's a nice little surprise when you do finally see it. It looks nice. I think I'm still looking for another sticker, but I don't have very many small stickers. Yep, these are all too big. I don't know where I am now. Oh yeah, I remember now. I found a bit of ribbon. It's a cute little tassel there on the right, but I don't end up using that. I left it out on my desk. It'll get used in another project. There's a bit of silver ribbon, just an end it looks like, and some of that really neat deep red ribbon that I've used on a lot of my journals. Just glue some of that on. And then some of that. That one didn't like to glue down very well. I had to hold it down. I think a button would go really nice on that. It would make it awfully thick, though. That's why you kind of want to wait a little bit until you're ready to put it in a journal to see exactly how you might want to use it before you do too much to it. All right, on these, I just did some flowers and leaves. Again, I was aware that, if I put flowers on it, I wouldn't be able to tuck that too far into a pocket. But you could tuck it down into a smaller pocket. And there I was adjusting where I was going to put that leaf and flower because I wanted the book page that was glued onto the bit of the card there. I wanted that to show. Now I've got some trims. Got to ink it up a little bit. I like to tea dye my trims and ribbons. Sometimes even after I've tea dyed them, they're not dark enough for me. I don't know if that one was tea dyed or not. But you can always just ink it up. So I glued it on and realized I glued it on the wrong side. So I just turned it over and glued it back down. Making a little tab there. I'm going to sand that up a little bit. Make sure the glue sticks. And now a button. Definitely a button. Oh yeah, that button had some wire on it. Had to get the wire off. Normally with buttons, I have to hold them down for a long time. I like to give them a long time to dry. But we're making a video, so you have to move on. Trying out some more lace. It's always good to have a bunch of junk on your desk. And usually by the time I'm at the end of a journal, I have all kinds of stuff on my desk. So when I'm making the ephemera to go into the journal, I have all kinds of stuff to choose from. In this case, I had to drag out a bunch of stuff because it's just a mass make. But I dragged out plenty of stuff, I guess, to look at. Here I'm putting some Fabri-Tac on the edges of that lace so it doesn't fray. Looks like I decided against a button on that one. The 7 just has a tiny bit of that Tim Holtz paper on it. And then I put some glue stick on it, and the glue stick had a little bit of pink on it. So it's got a bit of a pink look to it. And I just left it that way. And on this one, I'm going to leave the lace overhanging the edges and go with this little ribbon here. And again, I would normally hold the ribbon down for a long time to let that Fabri-Tac glue dry really well, but I'm making a video, so I'll do the best. Yeah, I think I called that Fabri-Tac It was Fray Check. Let me see what that's called. Yeah, Fray Check from Dritz for the edges of the lace. So they're pretty much finished, but again, when you are ready to put them into a journal, you can play around with them some more and add more ephemera to them. Well, that's all for today. That was a lot of fun for me. Just drag out your playing cards and have fun. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.